Right, hey guys, welcome to the third part and probably one of the most important parts in kind of this series because today we're actually going to be setting up the store, setting up all the payments, building the actual site and how it looks and how everything works when you click on certain things. And I just want to say you don't have to know programming languages or coding. A lot of people think that, to build a website you have to know programming and you got to integrate like card processing and payments and products, and it's actually a lot simpler than you think. So yeah, let's go into the screen. Alright, so the platform that we're going to use to run the site on is called Shopify. Now, I think I did say in the previous part, but they have, I think it's 70 or 80% of all online shopping is sitting on top of their platform. It's a really great platform. Most dropshippers and e-commerce sites use them. And now, for those of you who I know are going to ask, it's $29 a month. That's their base fee, and then they have a little bit more expensive and more expensive. I think they have 3 tiers. But the reason why I'm on my previous YouTube video and in the bottom of this YouTube video, there'll be a link. If you click this link, you're actually going to be able to get Shopify for free for 14 days. If you follow through in the whole series, you should be able to make your first couple sales within 14 days or 2 weeks, which means you should make enough money to pay off the $29, so then it will cost you nothing. So what you want to do, I just want to get into it so that it doesn't go really that long. If you have any other questions on kind of, Shopify's story and why they're the best and their rates and stuff, just go ahead and Google it. So to actually set up your store, number one, you're going to need a name. So I might do a separate video, not part of this, about that. But go into the bottom of this video or the bottom of the previous video, and you just want to click on this link. It will take you to here. It's going to say try Shopify free for 14 days, no risk and no credit card. So you want to just enter in an email address. So I'll just do Courtne dropshipstoretest@gmail.com. And then it's going to ask you for a few things. It will ask for a password and then store name. Now, a lot of people are going to think, this is set in stone. It's not. You can completely change the name of the store as you go through it without having to reset everything and refresh and restart. So you don't have to know from day one what the name of your store is, but don't let it hold you back. So don't spend weeks and weeks thinking, okay, well, I need a perfect name. A lot of people, when they're buying something, they don't care about the name unless it's Nike or Adidas. They really just want the product and the price and the ease of it. Right, so enter in your name here. Let me see, just do, it's fine. Okay, we'll do some stuff. Now it is going to ask you for an address. The reason why it asks you for an address is because Shopify also has a lot of integrations to send out emails, and they by law have to put the address there. So that is technically the registered business address. If you, like when I first started, if you don't have offices and you don't have, an actual physical business location, you can just put in your home address, and if you want, just put in the street and leave off the number. Generally, it's not really shown anywhere anyway. Just want to say I'm not selling products yet, and say no, I'm just playing around with Shopify. What is your current revenue? You can put whatever you want in there. Let's just say 0. If it's your first store. Are you setting up for a client? No, you're not. Yeah, it's going to ask you your first name. I'm just going to go ahead and fill everything in here. So you see it's gone and filled everything in. Obviously you want to enter in your own thing, and that will kind of work out that way, right? Then you want to say enter my store, and you'll see the really nice thing about this is it's not very complicated, like at all. It's so easy to set up. Just like that, you have a fully working online website. No coding, no, I don't know what a lot of people have as like their suspicions of why it's not going to work. That's literally it. Just enter that couple information and you have a fully working online store. So I'm going to title this A to Z of Shopify. So I'm pretty much going to show you that was creating the store. I'm going to go through each one by one and kind of explain, how it works and kind of how you can set things up. This is the left menu. This is pretty much where everything happens in your store. Home, once you have a store going here, it will basically just tell you how many visitors you've had on your site today, how many sales you've made, what the dollar or pound or whatever currency using value is, and then down here it also gives you a whole lot of recommendations. Orders, also fairly easy to explain. It will just show all the orders that have been made by customers, and then it shows you, if you click on it, it shows you their email, it shows you their address, and it shows you the products and the sizing and the colors and stuff, obviously, that they're all placed. And then it shows you the amount that the order was made for and if the payment processed. So there's three kind of things that you want to look at here. Payment processed is, I think it says payment succeeded, or payment processed, says something like that. It's green. That means that the payment's gone through. Stripe or PayPal or whoever you're using has authorized it, and the money is pretty much completed its transaction and is on its way to you. If it says pending or waiting for authorization, that means that generally it's with PayPal. That means that they've paid within, I think it's called an electronic check, which takes 4 to 5 days to clear. Really important if you see things like that. Make sure that you don't ship out the product until the payment clears, because as you'll see, once the product gets shipped out from somewhere in China, to get that product back is just going to be a waste. You might as well just write it off, but then you lose your money. So you definitely want to wait for that to clear. And the other thing that it will bring up here, if you're using Shopify payments, it will mark certain transactions as fraudulent. If they are fraudulent, it will mark it as high risk, and then you have to approve the transaction or decline it. 99% of the times, just decline it. Generally, it will be coming out of a country somewhere in the Middle East, or for some reason it would have triggered a fraudulent transaction. It's not worth the time and the money. Just cancel the transaction. Drafts, okay, this is if someone creates an order and then pretty much doesn't complete it, but that's if you create the order on the actual site, so you pretty much will never use that. Abandoned checkouts is actually really important. This will be if someone comes to the site and they add a whole lot of items to their cart and then they leave without paying. This is where it will show up here. Now I'm going to do another video about setting up all the apps that you have to use, and I would actually recommend using an app called MailChimp, or if you can afford it, Klaviyo, and that basically takes the email and sends them emails reminding them about what they left in their cart and didn't purchase, plus it gives them incentives like a discount. The order is in high demand and we're running out of stock. It provides a whole lot of incentives and just keeps the items at the top of their mind, hopefully so that they'll come back and purchase. Now at the bottom I will show you, Shopify actually has that feature in their new version implemented within it, but it only lets you send off one email, and you don't have as much control over it. So I just recommend adding it through MailChimp or Klaviyo, because then you can send an email every 24 hours, then it's generally every 3 days, and then 4 days or 5 days, whatever you want to do. Alright. Products. So this is where you can add a product. You can also transfer them. That again, for dropshipping, you're almost never going to use it. Inventory. This is where if you have a physical business and you want to track, okay, there's my warehouse, and every time someone places an order, they'll go and scan the box, alright, and then that will take a -1 in the inventory, so you can keep track of kind of how much stock you have left so that you're not running out. Again, for dropshipping, you're not going to use that because it hooks up within AliExpress. So this is more if you're using it as an actual business, physical business that is. And then collections is really important. Alright, so I'm going to go back to these two now. Gift cards, again, you have to upgrade to one of the more expensive plans to be able to do this. And also, if you drop shipping, unless you have a really big brand, I wouldn't pay much attention to this anyway. So to go back to products, Shopify will let you add a product here, but generally you're not going to do it like this. You're going to add it through an app. So there's a couple that you can use. The one that I'm going to show you in the next video is Obelo. and Abela will actually go straight into AliExpress, pull all the images, pull the titles, pull the variants. So if it's clothing, it will pull the sizes, the different colors, and all that stuff in here, and that's how you will be creating products. Then you just come into here and you'll be able to edit it. Alright, so you're never going to really be adding products like this. But once you have gone ahead and imported those products, you will still see this. So it's fairly self-explanatory. The title, this is if you want to change the title from the AliExpress title, which you always want to do, because AliExpress will say like women's waistcoat in black XXL or something like that. So you want to always be something branded. So you could call, let's say we're doing a t-shirt, you can call it something like the Kylie tee, right? You can do the Kylie tee. Here, description. This is where you want to put things like, you want to generally, I will do a full video on ad copy, which is the kind of the description text that you put on Facebook ads, which will also tie into the description that you put here, because remember, people are going to read the text on Facebook, then come onto the product page and then read this, so they need to kind of work together. So that will be in another part, but again, it's fairly self-explanatory. You can do things like bullet lists. So generally you want to do things like top features. Then you can do bullet lists here. You can make it bold, italic, change the paragraph formatting. You can change the color. Also really basic here, it's the images. This is where you'll be able to move certain images around. So if you want kind of the third image from AliExpress to be the main image, you can just drag it over. Here, the price, you can change the price of the item. And then the compare at price. Now, if you're not in e-com, the name might be a little bit confusing. The compare at price is basically the previous price. So remember when you see products that says it was $48, now it's $40 because there's an $8 sale or something like that. Or even to make it simpler, let's say the store has a 20% discount, and that means that the compare at price would have been $100, and the new price would be $80 because the store has a 20% discount. So when you go and have a look at this product, let's see if it will save it. Yep. Right, it says sold out. Again, it will pull the inventory from AliExpress, so you'll never have that. It's just because I'm adding the product manually like this. So if you reload, right, it's not letting me do it. What's happening? Again, this is a physical product. All of this stuff that you're seeing here will never ever come up because you pull it out of AliExpress. So you really don't want to worry about any of this stuff. Again, a lot of people are going to ask about this. I would say charge taxes on this product, turn it off. Generally what you want to do is just include the taxes within the product price. People don't like to pay more than a few things. So people don't like to pay $100 for a product and then get charged another $20 for taxes and then another $10 for shipping. Generally, as a rule, always include all those costs within the product. So instead of doing that, just charge $130 for the product. Don't try and separate it into 3 prices to make the first price lower, because people generally would rather prefer one price. I know it's fairly confusing, but there's a ton of research done into it. If you do some Googling, and all the psychology and stuff point to just have one big main price. So to go back into that compare price, I turned it off. You'll see it says compare at price was 100 and the actual price was 80. Right? So if you go here, you'll see it's crossed out at 100 and the actual price is 80, and then here's the description. Alright, so that is that. Now, collections. Collections is essentially categories. So for example, if we were doing a clothing store, you could do something like here. You could make this shirts. You can make this shirts and just let it save. And some text for the product tag. Alright, so this is because it's here. Alright, so this is actually really important. But again, you're not going to actually use this for dropshipping that much. But manual add products to this collection one by one. That means that you have to physically go and choose to add these products to shirts. Alright, I spelled it wrong. Or if you choose the automated version of it, you can set certain rules. So for example, if something has the word shirt in the title, it will automatically add it to the shirts collection. Okay, so let me just make a new collection so I can show you. Let's call this dresses. If you go and make an automated, you could make the product tag or the product title contains dress. So now, every time there is the word dress in the title of a product, it will automatically put it in the dresses collection. So if you have a product called the blue dress and another product called the red dress, both of them will automatically be added into here because it follows this rule. But again, if that doesn't make sense, I wouldn't worry about it, because mostly when you're setting this up, you're only going to have 2 or 3 products. So you can do it manually. But you know, if you have a store like some of the big brands which use Shopify, one of them is Gymshark. When you have hundreds and hundreds of items on your store, it's a little bit tedious and there can be problems in doing it manually, so then you want to set up those rules. But for what we're doing, it's not going to be a problem. So if you go back into your products and you click on it, you'll see here it says collections, and you can add this to shirts. And now if you load up the shirts collection, it will actually put this product there. So this is the manual way of doing it. Okay, so that's pretty much everything here. Again, the shipping, this is a physical product. This is if you want to control shipping within Shopify, which you don't, because you remember you're going to be placing it through either a third-party factory in China or through AliExpress, so you don't even want to worry about that. And then you can delete your product here. And then variants are very important. So again, this will pretty much all be pulled from Shopify. So you don't have to worry about this, because remember the variants and stuff are picked up through the apps and through AliExpress. But if you did want to do it manually, you could create a variant called size, and you could have small, medium and large. You could create another variant option called color, and you can have red and you can have black. And if you save that, save, and if you reload the product, you will see now it asks you to choose a size and to choose a color, which we just set up. Alright, so that's variant, that's what it means. And then you can also set individual prices. So say for example you want to charge more for a large than for a small, you can go ahead and do that here. Okay, so that's pretty much everything in products. Then in customers, this is pretty much just going to be a list of all the contact details and information that the store has had from all of its customers. So here will just be a list of the names, the addresses and the emails of all your customers that you can export into Facebook for advertising later on, but that will come later. Analytics here again will just be the total sales, total online store sessions, your conversion store rate, total sales attributed to marketing. Again, this doesn't really pick up from Facebook, so a lot of the stuff you don't need to worry about. The main things that are important is your total sales, total online store sessions, returning customer rate, and then average order value. And this is very important. Probably the most important metric in this whole list is your online store conversion rate. Now I know if you're watching for another country, you're going to wonder what is ZAR. Right, so whatever currency you use will show up here. So if you're in the US, and generally I would recommend setting up your store in US dollars, because it will just make everything easier. And to actually, I'll show you guys how to do that. You can go to General, and you can come down here and you can change it to whatever currency you want to use. So if you want to use the US dollar, and save it there. Generally, I'd recommend using the US. As I said, it is the most used currency on pretty much every website, so people are very used to using that currency. and that's why most websites use it regardless of what country they're in. So I would just recommend setting it to US dollars. The reason why mine is showing it in ZAR is because when I set up the store a couple of minutes ago, I just chose the default address, which is my previous address in South Africa, so it set the country of the store to South Africa, which again the country will be here. So if you set this to the United States, you're going to have to go in and fill in all this stuff again, which you won't let me do because you're going to have to do a proper address, and then it will change the currency, so don't worry about that. Marketing again. Marketing here is not something that you will use. You will do it straight within Facebook or within Google AdWords, so don't worry about it. Discounts, if you want to create a specific discount code, so for example you could put in your ad 10% off if you order today, use the code 10 off or something like that. No, not 10 off, that's a bad example. That I was going to put it in a different video, but I might as well use it now. You always want to use off 10, never ever use 10 off, because obviously the 0 and the O just really looks bad. So always make it off 10 or off 20, something like that. And then the discount value is whatever percentage you want off, so you could say 10%. A lot of this stuff fairly self-explanatory. Automatic. Create an automatic discount. Now this is again something that Shopify has just implemented. We used to use an app to do it, but essentially it will allow you to do things like buy one get one free, or buy two get one free, stuff like that. So it would be if the customer buys one of a specific product, so we'll use our Kylie tea. So if the customer buys one Kylie tea, the customer will be able to get one Kylie tea for free. Okay, so essentially you can now make a new discount title like get one free. So if they enter that code, as long as they are buying one Kylie tea, they're going to get another one for free. Okay, and you can kind of change that to you'll get another one for 50% off, or you know, you can add more products here and you can kind of set that up for your own needs. Apps. This is also important when you're setting everything up. Once it's set up, pretty much done, but you basically just go to the Shopify App Store, and yeah, you can install a ton of apps. So for example, the first one that I recommend installing is Obelo. This is the app which is going to allow you to install products from AliExpress straight into Shopify, but I'll do a separate video again on that because I want to show you the actual dashboard of how it looks, because you can do a whole lot of stuff within Obelo, because this is how Obelo looks, and you can see there's a ton of other stuff going on here, which I want to get into a little bit more detail. But for now, you can literally just add the app, and it will tell you, let's see, yep, it will tell you, you just say install the app, just wait for it. Right, and it's now going to take you straight into Obelo, and if you go back here and you load up your apps, you will now see that Obelo is there. Alright, so fairly self-explanatory. Now when I talk about customizing your site, so if you want to change how things look, that's what comes here. So there are certain themes, and you can go to the Shopify theme store. They do have an actual theme store, so if you Google Shopify theme store, you will be able to buy certain themes. So if you want your site to look specifically like that or specifically like that, you can go ahead and buy certain things and then you just put it in here. If you're just getting started, it's not necessary. Shopify does actually give you a whole lot of free options that you can choose. Again, it depends on kind of the type of industry that you want to use. Let's say that we like the way this one looks. You basically just choose it and say add. Alright, and it will put it there. Just wait for it. Taking long. And you can then go ahead and customize the theme. And the customize is going to allow you to do things like change the images, change the text, add certain things, do a whole lot of stuff here. So for example, this is how your new website looks. As you can see, we only have one product at the moment, and it is not got an image because we didn't add any. Again, if you use Abelo to pull it from AliExpress, it will put it there, so that's not a problem. Image with text, you can go ahead and edit all of this. So how that works is, this is on the home page. You have a whole lot of sections. Slideshow is this. You can see that there is 2 images. If you add a third image, it will let you do that. So now you'll see there's 2 images that you can slide between, and you can go ahead here and select the actual image. So if you go to free images, you'll be able to choose one, and that is how it will look. Alright, so there you have bad. Again, that looks terrible. The back of this doesn't look great. You really want to spend time going into branding, so choosing certain images which reflect your brand. Maybe have your own logo on here somewhere, and something like that. Okay, so that's slideshow, collection lists. Here we can choose our first collection because we only made 2. You could make the shirts. Again, it says no image because our first product didn't have an image. If it did have an image, it would put it here. And you can go ahead and change whatever you want to do here. This is again just showing one collection. Now you can go ahead and delete stuff, so like image with text, you can remove it and that will be gone. Or you can go and add tons and tons of stuff. So for example, if you wanted to put a video here, you can go ahead and add that. If you put it from YouTube or anywhere else, if you have a really cool video of your product, really good to put it here. Just makes it seem a lot more branded. You can go ahead and put testimonials, so if you have some reviews, or if you're being honest, if you want to make up some reviews about your products, you can put that here. It looks really clean. And that's pretty much the basics. I mean, if you go to theme settings and colors, you'll see you can change the colors of stuff to reds. That will put it there. Text background on the slideshows, so you see it's blue there. You can go ahead and make it whatever color you want. If you make it a red, you can change all the other colors here. Then if you click on certain things, like if you click on a collection page, it will take you to the shirts collection. As you can see at the moment, we only have the one product, and if you go here, this will now have changed because you're on a different page. So if you go to collection, you'll be able to do certain things like enable sorting. If you turn it off, you're not going to be able to sort. Enable tag filtering and stuff. And then if you click on an actual product, let's see, and you click on product pages, you can do a whole lot of customizations here. So for example, if you don't want these things to be here, you can turn them all off, and then it will go ahead and do that. Again, to change things like the images, the description, the variants and stuff, you do that in the product page, which I showed you earlier. So that pretty much is just a rough overview of how you can change things here. This menu at the top, so you see it says home and catalog, that is changed here. So if you go to navigation and you go to the main menu, that's where these things are changed. So you could add something new, like you could put a collection there and put shirts. Okay, so you could put shirts there in the main menu, and if you go now to here, you will see, if you customize it, just let it reload, you now have shirts up there in the main menu. Alright, so that's how you go ahead and change that. You can also remove or rename. Blog posts, not really going to be necessary for dropshipping store, so I'll skip that. Pages, if you want to create a specific page, so for example, I would recommend creating an FAQ, and you can do things like how long is shipping. So once that is done, you can then go back into navigation, and I've already done it, but you can go into main menu and add it as an FAQ, and if you go back to your site, you will now see that there is an FAQ page, which people will be able to just read. Really important, guys. I will maybe make a video at the end of it, just as like a broad key point summary on the most important things, but it's really important that you have an FAQ, because people look for things like how long is shipping, what is your return policy, do you ship to my country? all those things you want to put here, so that if the customer ever wants to know, instead of them saying, okay, I'm unsure of it, let me not buy, they can just come straight here and end up buying anyway. So it's really important that you have this page, as well as I would create another page about just shipping, so estimated shipping time, can they track their order, which will put an app in that allows them to track on the site. We'll do that just now, as well as kind of do you ship to my country, all that stuff. I will put that in a separate page. Domains. Now, domains is if you want to connect a the name of your store.com, which I would recommend. You never ever want to just use this domain. So this is what you get when you just sign up. So once you just sign up for a store, you get a .myshopify.com. You essentially want to go and buy a domain. So you can buy it through Shopify, or you can buy it through a third party. Then you just connect the existing domain. So it will be something like www.store.com. You go to next, and then you pretty much just follow the instructions. Preferences, I think we've kind of gone over already. It's essentially the homepage title. Alright, homepage title is what comes up here. So for example, FAQ-dropship YT. Meta description. When you Google a site, you'll see that it's always the name of the site. So it could be like this store is called Dropship YT. And then underneath it on Google, you always see that there's a description, which is like a little bit of text telling you about the site. This is where it comes from. Alright, so you want to enter that here. It's also used for ranking. And then Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel ID we will get in another video, because that has to do with marketing. To disable your website page, this is talking about the specific password page. So because we logged in, when we go to the main home page, it takes us to the actual page. If you go to this main page on another browser or from an ad, it's going to ask you to enter in a password. And that password is here, and you can change it to whatever you want. But when you start running ads, you want to definitely turn this off. You never want to have a password turned on, because then the customer's going to click on the ad to come to buy the product, and now they see something with a password and it looks a bit sketchy, plus they don't have the password, and even if you put it in their writing, then they have to go back. You want to turn it off. To turn it off, it's going to show you, and it's going to ask you to choose a plan. Now what's really important, I would just choose the basic plan. It will not charge you until your 14 days are up. So it is going to ask you to enter in credit card details and stuff, but it will wait until the 14 days are up to start charging you. Like I said, in those first 14 days, you most likely are going to, you should get a couple sales, which will give you the money to pay for this anyway. So I wouldn't really worry about it. But you will have to fill all this in to get that password page turned off. That is, I think, the last, that's the last password. Then let's go into the settings. We'll go to general. Again, you can change the name, you can change the account's emails, the legal name, I wouldn't worry about it. This is the address and stuff, again, because it's not a physical store. Wouldn't worry about it so much. Standards and formats, again, not really for dropshipping. Store currency you can change, and like I said, I would recommend just using US dollars for all of them anyway. Payment providers, this is essentially the step where you set up PayPal, Stripe, whoever else you're using. If you haven't heard of any of those, Stripe is essentially the software that processes credit card transactions on most websites, and then PayPal is obviously how you can pay with PayPal. Most websites will tell you here Shopify Payments. Shopify Payments is powered by Stripe, but with the control of Shopify. It's really easy to set up, and if you want to do that for your first store, go ahead. I would recommend just using Stripe. There's a lot less issues. They tend to work a little bit better. And yeah, I would use Stripe. But essentially you just use PayPal Express. It's going to ask you now to go ahead and activate it. So it will ask you to log into your PayPal account, which you can do. Here, select a provider, you just want to use Stripe. Again, it will ask you to activate it. And then alternative payments, if you want to do things like accept Bitcoin and accept a ton of other really random stuff, you can put that there if you want. I'd recommend just having PayPal set up and just having Stripe. So that way people can pay with PayPal. which also adds kind of authenticity and shows that you're an actual business. And then Stripe, people can pay with their credit cards. Literally, that's all you have to do to start accepting payments. There's nothing else very fancy about it. And then checkout, I would say have accounts disabled. You never want to have someone have to create an account to be able to buy. Just have it disabled straight away. Full name, require last name only is fine. Company name hidden. Address line optional. Shipping address phone hidden. Again, you can put it as optional if you want. It's not really that important. Use the shipping address as the billing address by default. That's fine. Enable order address order completion. That's fine. After an order has been paid, do not automatically fulfill. Very, very important. You do not want to automatically fulfill the orders. If you automatically fulfill the orders, you're not going to be able to go back and then fulfill those orders in AliExpress with Ubero. So this needs to be on the second option. After an order has been fulfilled and paid, automatically archive. That's fine. Additional scripts. This is to do some customization. So we'll skip that. Email marketing. Show a sign up option at checkout. This depends on how ethical you want to be. Alright, so if you say pre-select the sign up option, okay, essentially people have to choose to sign up to your email list to get email reminders and email promotions. And if you choose this, it will automatically tick it, so then the person has to come and actually untick it. However, if you have something like MailChimp installed, it's just going to pull all the emails, regardless of whether they've selected this or not. So if you want to just capture every single email and send every single person who comes to the site promotions and stuff, just turn it off. If you want to be a little bit more ethical and stuff, then maybe turn it on and tick that one as well. That's up to you. Checkout language obviously would be English, but that has to do with what currency and what country you're targeting. Shipping, again, this is also fairly important. What I would do is remove whatever domestic location it's set up for you. So just go and delete the zone for domestic, and just charge one flat fee for international shipments. So rest of the world, you see it's currently charging at $20. Like I said, I would recommend putting the cost of the shipping in the actual product cost, because people don't want to pay more than once. And generally anyway, the cost of shipping from AliExpress and these warehouses in China are only like $4 or so. So literally just come in here and I would literally just make it $0. So just make your shipping free. Then you can also put a banner on the site saying free worldwide shipping, included in all orders, and then just charge a little bit more per product. But if you want, you can go ahead and add a zone. Like if it's to a certain country, you can charge way more. If that's something that you want to do, you can go ahead and do it. Taxes, again, I would just just leave this. That's something you want to handle separately. Locations, not important. Notifications, again, I would just leave everything here as it is. Files, that's not really important. Legal, billing, account, and sales channels. So sales channels, here, the sales channels you can add from here. There's a ton of stuff that it will allow you to add, like you can integrate it into Instagram. So if you're doing a clothing brand, for example, if you add Instagram as a sales channel, right, it will allow you to go ahead and tag your products on your store on your Instagram photo. So that's how you can do that. You can also integrate into Facebook and into Amazon. This has got to do with marketing and stuff, so that will be in another part. So don't worry about that here. Account is things like if you want to change your credit card, change your email address, and delete the store, close the store, stuff like that. And then legal, again, these things really are important to have, but you can literally just say create from template, and it will literally just go ahead and create everything from a predefined template. It will fill in the name of your store, and a lot of these terms of service, privacy policy, and refund policy are the same. The only ones which I would mention changing is the refund one and the shipping policy. So for here, you want to do things like our average order delivery is 12 to 20 days. Because it is, if you're getting it from AliExpress and stuff, it's not going to come in 3 days, and you want to be transparent, because if you don't put it here, people can claim refunds, and Stripe, PayPal and stuff are going to agree with the customer because you didn't put it on your site. So you want to put that here, and then your refund policy, again, you want to put whatever you feel is comfortable with. Generally, I would just say we accept a 14-day return policy, and if a customer does complain, just refund them. It's not worth, trying to get like them to send it back to some warehouse in China who has to communicate it with AliExpress. Generally, just refund them. It's just worth it. And pretty much that's a broad, I guess, A to Z view of Shopify. That pretty much covers everything. Obviously, when you go ahead and create your store, you'll be able to go through one by one and actually go into a little bit more detail as you start filling it out, and that's the best way to learn, is actually by doing it yourself. So what I'd recommend is, now that you've watched this, just smash that link. It will be down below. It will allow you to go ahead and create your store. Do it today. Don't procrastinate. The longer you wait and think about it and stuff, it's not going to work. Like I said, you can always at any time go ahead and change the name of your store. So that shouldn't be an issue. So literally just start today. If there's any questions, I know I went fairly quickly because there is a lot to cover, and I just did a broad overview. So if there's something incredibly specific, try and comment it down below or send me a Instagram DM, and I will kind of answer it there. Otherwise, guys, I will see you in the next part, where we will actually be setting up a beta, importing a product, changing the pricing and stuff. And after that, you should have a fully functioning store. So I'll see you guys in the next part.